For a place somebody's going to beat Long, and it's here today. This is Longen's first appearance ever on this dangerous track in Cortina d'Ampezzo. Standings after 4 events, Longen has a short lead over Dostetler, Luder's last year's champion third, Switzerland Reto Gocci's in fourth. After Cortina, there's only one more stop. That's in San Moritz, Switzerland. 2 heats today. Best total time at the bottom, lowest total time is the winner. And unfortunately for the field, Longen is drawn number 1, meaning he's got the best ice to work with. But if you notice here, he's driving a blue sled. This was brought in from Germany 2 days ago because Longen, on his first trip down the Cortina track ever, crashed it out of the famous Cristallo corner. And he had to bring this sled in, and he's only got 4 practice trips with it. So Longen a serious disadvantage here. We'll see what he can do. His brakeman Olaf Hampel, one of the best in the world. These two have been posting the best start times on the circuit. They're at 4.89, and that is a new start record here. Breaks the old start record of 4.93. Longen, a big man, powerful. Look at the feet coming down. Cohesion, turnover, the entry into the sled with cat-like movements, so important at the top of the track. Now they're in the famous Antolo, Cristallo corners. Little bump there, uphill section. First man down. And Longen is shrewind down at a time of 54.76. He smashes the track record. So he had no problem driving this sled because he's now the track record holder here. And everybody up top, I'm sure, is just shaking their head. Christoph Longen and Olaf Hampel. Perfect conditions, probably the reason why we have a track record. Air temperature -3, track temperature, the most important, -5. Absolutely perfect conditions for bobsleigh. Cortina, one of the famous old tracks of the world, very steep vertical drop, average grade 9.5, also very excessive. This track will really challenge the drivers. It's down on that long straightaway, 10 and 11. Labyrinth, the Cristallo, Antolo, 2-corner combination, probably the most challenging in the world. This track is definitely one that challenges the drivers. We'll give you a bird's eye view with the camera mounted right above the runner. Out of the start grooves here. The secret to bobsleigh is not oversteering. It's not the guy who drives the most that wins. It's the guy who drives the least. Natural ice track that's been dug up and refrigerated. Now here's a labyrinth. 3-corner combination that throws the athletes around. Now they're coming to that big sweeping long straightaway. This is where the athletes get almost 75 miles an hour, 4 Gs of force. Antolo, Cristallo, big 180-degree change of direction. Little exit uphill now over that little hump. Now approaching the finish corner for another 4 Gs of rattling force on the athletes. Through the finish and down, we've already seen one sled break the track record here. A fast day in Cortina d'Ampezzo. Next up at the top of the hill, Reto Gocci beat Seitz as brakeman, silver medalist at the '94 Olympics in Lillehammer. Second man down, also with some good ice to work with. 5 flat start time. Watch the technique coming off the driver's hands here. It's almost like a bench press for the driver. The next is to watch the feet coming down between driver and brakeman. They say it's better to have the feet coming down the same. The Swiss do it. Now this is Bandion Belvedere, 2-corner combination. Little kick into Antolo, Cristallo. That's Longen's times on the left. Banging. And Gocci is way off the pace. He's plus 59 hundredths. Now into a revo, the finish corner, 55.33. Longen was very, very good, or Gochi was very, very bad. That is a big separation in these two teams. 57 hundredths behind the German sled. World Cup bobsleighs brought to you by Corel, the fastest in graphics, official sponsor of the World Cup bobsleigh series.
In our world, engineering and imagination know no boundaries. Introducing Corel Draw 6, the complete 32-bit graphics suite exclusively for Microsoft Windows 95. Only Corel Draw 6 delivers 5 graphics applications, 8 utilities, 25,000 clip art images and symbols, 1,000 photos, 1,000 fonts, plus over 750 3D models. Get acquainted with the leader. The time is now.
Corel World Cup two-man bobsleigh from Cortina continues. You'll see a sight of the women's alpine skiing events, also in Cortina the same weekend. Now the hometown favorite, Gunter Huber. His brakeman Antonio Tartaglia, coming off a bronze medal at the last World Cup two-man event in La Plagne, France. The diminutive one, Gunter Huber. Very much like Eugenio Monti, a small pilot. Huber doesn't get the great start times, 5 flat there. Watch his hips here. To me, you see him, a lot of twisting in the upper body, and a lot of energy going side to side, not straight ahead. Bobsled, pushing a sled is a lot like skiing. You want to keep your shoulders parallel to down the hill, and a lot of twisting by Huber. He's at a serious disadvantage now, 11 hundredths down. This is the Belvedere Bandione 2-corner combination, and now the speed part of the track. Antelo, Cristallo. This is one of the magical pilots in the world. He lives off driving, not starting the sled like Longen. 54.76, 54.78, an excellent time by the Italian Gunter Huber. A deficient start time at the top of the track, excellent driving down the track. Look at his line here. Watch the way he enters Cristallo high early. Watch the way the sled dives out. Perfect right down the middle. That's where he picked up his time. A little bump there, didn't hurt him. Huber with an excellent time on the bottom part of his home track. He's presently in second place. Now up, Pierre Luters of Edmonton, Alberta. His brakeman, Dave McEachran, Canada 1. McEachran and Luters, two very big, powerful men, and 4.92 start, only 3 hundredths off Longen's time. Look at Luters explode. His hands grab that push bar, much like a bench press. These athletes have to have tremendous physical stature, weightlifting, powerlifting, sprinting, a lot of track and field and athletics. But down here, it's the eye-hand coordination. Eyes of a hawk, the hands of a surgeon, and gives you the best time at the bottom. And Luters has got his problems right there, banging. Valette corner, now into the finish. 54.76, 54.84, only 8 hundredths behind, and considering the banging out of Cristallo, that's not a bad heat. Now watch him here, this is Belvedere. Now watch him bang Bandione. That's skidding across the ice there. That wasn't a good exit off Belvedere and Bandione, and he's high late there. But considering he's only 8 hundredths off the pace, that was a good trip for Canada 1, Pierre Luters. Next up, the American Brian Scheimer. Brakeman Randy Jones. At one time, one of the best starting teams in the world. Scheimer this year has been faced with injury after injury. Third place at Lillehammer. He hasn't been near the podium since.
Keep driving.
Both former football players in the United States. Good, powerful starting team. 499. You can see the bench press type explosion. Look at the feet, see if they're coming down together. You don't want any air time with those feet. You want the feet on the ice for the power. And then you want to enter the sled again with the cat-like movements and get down for an aerodynamic ride. Ooh, nice transition there. That's one of the best transitions we've seen so far by any sled. Cristallo, he's a little high in Cristallo. And a little bit of a bang there, but very straight as he approaches Valette. Brian Scheimer, USA #1. Into the finish, through and down. His time, 55.00. 24 hundredths behind the top team of Christoph Langen. Good enough for fourth place for the USA #1 sled driven by Brian Scheimer of Naples, Florida. Standings at the end of the first heat. Christoph Langen of Germany, 54.76, only 200ths back. The very talented Gunter Huber of Italy. Luters and Scheimer in third and fourth. Cortina, site of the 7th Winter Olympic Games in 1956. The beautiful ice stadium still sits like it's never been touched. Not far away is the downtown square. Cortina d'Ampezzo, one of the most beautiful winter resorts that exist on the planet. Our first competitor in the second heat, fifth at the end of the first run, Sepp Dostetler, his brakeman Thomas Platzer. Very disappointing in the first heat. 494 start. So Dostetler only 100th worse than his first heat of 493. The Germans so strong, so deep, with so many great pilots and teams. Technique, look at the shoulders, look at the hips, everything's going forward. Pretty straight out of the Cristallo. He has the best time so far in this heat, you can see that. In fact, he's got a very good time here. 54.79. Sepp Dostetler rockets down the track. 28 hundredths better than his first heat time. Either the tracks got faster, but Dostetler with a very impressive 2-heat total time that puts him in the first position with the 4 top sleds yet to come. Why so much better in the second heat?
It's not enough.
Why so much better in the second heat?
I mean, the track is faster than the first in the first run. I mean, I hope it's enough for me.
Sepp Dostetler hoping that time is enough to move him up into the medal placings. The next team he's got to worry about, right here, the American #1 team, Brian Scheimer and Randy Jones, 7 hundredths ahead of the German sled after the first heat.
Come on. Keep driving.
499 in the first heat. They need to get quicker. Both in pretty early, 497. So unlike Dostetler, who slowed up 100th at the start, the Americans were 200ths better. Now watch this bench press explosion here. Now watch this come back to Scheimer's chest. And just like bench pressing weight, the thrust and power and cohesion. They talk about the bobsled start as a choreography on ice. And that's exactly what it is from an athletic perspective. Look at the feet coming down together. And now the speed part of the track. Antolo, Cristallo, 4 Gs, and Scheimer's high there again. And he's got a skid going. And he's 24 hundredths off the best time of Dostetler, so Scheimer in jeopardy here of losing his placing to the German Sepp Dostetler. 55.08, Scheimer comes down 800 slower in his first heat and considerably off the pace of Dostetler. So Dostetler proving he had a wonderful time in the second run. Scheimer now in second place. And watch the line here, a little low in Antelo, which forces the sled to cross over into Cristallo into a high late line. Watch the sled go up high, up near the top of the corner, and then he's got to play with it, which causes the skid here. Anytime you erase time, you can't gain it back. Now we're seeing why Scheimer had a problem. He had a malfunction with his equipment. Where'd you drop the rope?
Well, I grabbed it, when I got in, but the bungees that hold it up broke. I mean, I had it in my hand, but it's just a different feel with no bungee in your hand, and it wasn't. I can't believe it went that fast. So it hit everything on the way down. Had a chance to do real good, but hopefully all the good breaks come at the World.
Equipment malfunction for the United States and Brian Scheimer. He's in second place now behind Sepp Dostetler. The Dolomite Mountains of northern Italy. Just a beautiful, spectacular setting. Great place for winter sports.
Choosing a movie just got a whole lot easier. Introducing Corel All Movie Guide, the ultimate multimedia movie expert. Brought to you by the world leader in graphic software, Corel All Movie Guide gives you interactive access to the most comprehensive movie database on CD-ROM. Enjoy hours and hours of entertainment exploring the glamorous world of movie stars, directors, and behind-the-scenes cast and crew. Corel All Movie Guide, a must for all movie lovers.
Today's World Cup Bobsleigh program being brought to you by Corel, the fastest in graphics and official sponsor of the World Cup Bobsleigh Series. Our next competitor from Canada, Pierre Luters and Dave McEachran. Third place, end of the first heat, 492 start to second best. Very much a blueprint of Longen, very big, powerful driver. 490. Best start so far in the heat. Here comes that bench press exercise. Look at the size of Luter's arms here as he hits this push bar. Explosion, power, athleticism. This 50 meters to the top of the track is your only speed accelerator in the sport besides gravity. Look at the feet. Great cohesion by the Canadians. Antelo. Look at the nose of the sled. Watch the heads. Very smooth exit. But he's lost a lot of time. He's 2100ths off the pace. The German Sepp Dostetler at the bottom. And Luters falls behind him. 400ths off the lead. So Sepp Dostetler guarantees himself a medal.
In here. We'll start.
Disappointment on the Canadian faces. They've slipped at least one. Presently in second, but the two top sleds at the top of the track. Gunter Huber of Italy, his brakeman, Antonio Tartaglia, only 200ths off the pace. One of the best drivers in the world. His problem is here in the first 50 meters. Everyone agrees he's got the best eyes and hands that exist. Start time, you can see he's got a problem. 499 compared to Luters, who just had the 490. Watch his bench press exercise. He doesn't have the arms you saw that Luters had. A lot of twisting of side to side there. That's technique. Look at his feet. His feet aren't even going forward there. But this is where he makes no mistakes. Antelo, high early, Chris. Look at that sled dive out of there. Perfect. But he's 1000ths off the pace, and that's the time of Dostetler. But he's got a good 2500ths lead on Dostetler. The Italian, Gunter Huber, to the finish. He's got it. 54.89. He's 1900ths better than Dostetler. He's our leader And the Italian, Huber's guaranteed himself at least a silver, maybe the gold. Look at this sled dive out of that Cristallo corner. This is why this pilot is considered one of the best in the world at the high speeds of the bobsled track. If Gunter Huber had a start time like Lueders or Langen, nobody would touch him. So the Italians rejoice with a medal. Whether it's gold or silver, we'll find out. Thomas Platz, the brakeman for Sepp Dosteller, congratulating Huber. Huber looks over at his times. The diminutive one, Gunter Huber. Now, the strong one at the top, Christoph Langen and Olaf Hampel. Driving that borrowed sled. Look at that start time. Another start record, 4.85. Let's watch the bench press. Watch the cohesion. Look at the two heads, the two bodies just accelerating out of that start block. Very big, powerful man. Look at the feet. Look at the size of the legs. Look at the feet coming down together. Now let's watch him drive. That time in the left, that's Dosteller's time. And he's better than that. Oh, but he bangs there before the Valette corner. Into the finish. Christoph Langen looking to win his 6th straight race, and he does. He's won 3 straight 2-mans. He's now won 3 4-mans. 6 straight victories on the World Cup circuit with a borrowed sled. He is just dominating this Corel World Cup bobsleigh series. Christoph Langen doesn't even look happy. Dave McEachran of Canada congratulates Olaf Hampel, the brakeman, but look at Langen. He's complaining. He's won 6 straight races. He's a perfectionist. In a borrowed sled through Antolo, Cristallo. This is where he crashed the first training run down his track earlier this week. The man's got nerves of steel. He's powerful, and he's won 6 straight races now on the Corel World Cup Series. Makes a mistake there, got away with it. Unbelievable the way this German Christoph Langen has dominated the series. Now he looks happy. Gunter Huber congratulating him. Good result, Gunter. Final standings from Cortina. It's Christoph Langen, Olaf Hampel, the leaders. Huber in 2nd. Dosteller sneaks into 3rd ahead of the Canadian Pierre Lueders. It takes 2 to push a bobsled, but according to Olaf Hampel, he's only the brakeman. The driver's the most important guy. Great time.
That's not right, the pilot.
What do you mean the pilot? How about the great start, huh? Great start time, record start time, record finish. 6 times you win.
Nice, yes.
With a different sled.
Lueders in Calgary, the first pilot.
Christoph Langen referring to Pierre Lueders, the big challenge at the World Championships in Calgary, but right now he's riding on top of a wave in the Corel World Cup Series. 6 straight victories, and the German juggernaut continues. Langen now leads the 2-man overall World Cup standings with 174 points ahead of his countryman Sepp Dosteller. Lueders, the defending champions, in 3rd. In the 4-man, Hoppy's got a slight advantage over Langen. Schasser, the Austrians, in 3rd. And in the overall title, it's Langen, Lueders, Huber, and Laurie. It's pretty tight. Christoph Langen's got a chance to run away with all 3 World Cup disciplines. Next time on the Corel World Cup Series, it returns to Cortina for the 4-man competition. Is it going to be Christoph Langen winning his 7th straight race?